Hi everyone, how are you doing? It's episode 61 and the time has come to go to Santiago Bernabéu and face Allegri's Real Madrid. But just before we do exactly that, we're going to take a quick look at what happened after the last episode. So, exactly what I didn't want to happen in the EFL Cup happened and we went to extra time. The players were absolutely knackered by the time we were done. And if you compare some of the numbers here with some of the numbers here, it's very easy to see why some of the numbers here are as low as they are because of our fixture congestion. But in the 100th minute, Marco Rog scored a free kick that got us the win. Unfortunately, we didn't have to go to penalties, but in a way, I probably would have rather lost in normal time than knacker some players out. And you'll see in a bit that it definitely took its toll. We beat Reading quite comfortably, 2-0, 16 shots on target, so how Declan Rudd only has a rating of 6.9, I think is a bit bizarre. And when I say, take its toll, I'm on about Mbaye Nyang getting injured and Marco Piacca getting injured. Now, fortunately for us, Nyang has taken an injection, so he will be available to come off the bench in the second half, should we need him. I'm not going to risk aggravating his injury, though, because he's been one of our better players this season. And the other player, of course, was Marco Piacca, who is going to be out for around just under 2 weeks, which is a shame, because he's only just gotten back from injury. He's not exactly been the best ever since he came back from injury, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Because I'm a massive plonker, knowing that Piacca wasn't going to be able to play, for some reason, I decided to let Matthias Kunz play against the Real Madrid under-18s. Yeah, basically knacker himself out that way. And the match is on the same day, which means he can't play against the under-18s and us at the same time. So, without further ado, we're still unbeaten in the league. Let's see if we can stay unbeaten in the Champions League against Real Madrid. I'm not sure, actually. One thing we mentioned was whether or not Ronaldo was going to be back from injury. In fact, both Ronaldo and Gareth Bale seem injured at the moment. It seems like, unlike the last time we looked at them, they might end up lining up because most of their wingers are out injured with a narrow formation. So that's going to be interesting. I never thought I'd see the day where Karim Benzema will be playing up front with Divock Origi. But, yeah, we'll see each other at the Santiago Bernabéu and see whether or not they do opt to go with this interesting combination up front. Okay then, so they've not gone with the killer duo of Karim Benzema and Divock Origi up front. They've gone with Asensio just playing off Benzema. Asensio's a player I have tried to sign in the past to no avail. And to be fair, you look at him and it's no surprise why I haven't been able to sign him in the past. Is he actually a product of the youth academy? No, they signed him from Espanyol for 2.8 million quid. Wow, he's a quality player in real life, let alone how he's developed, in the game. So, fair dues. But yeah, Benzema and Asensio up front. James Rodriguez out on the right-hand side with Felipe Anderson on the left. Casemiro with Toni Kroos, so one playmaker, one slightly, the wrestler that is Casemiro, who never seems to get red carded, even though he seems to be more interested in being a boxer than a footballer. Dani Carvajal is still somehow at the club. 28 years old, 250k a week for a bloody right back. I mean, he's good, but he's not that good. Varane and Sergio Ramos are the duo at centre-back with Guilherme Arana playing left-back. This guy looks pretty decent. His tackling and marking could be better, but I guess when you're Real Madrid, you don't have to worry too much about conceding goals, so they'd rather sign a winger as left-back. And, of course, Keylor Navas is going to be in goal, whilst us, I think you can see from the starting lineup that we are a bit lacking, shall we say, in the offensive department. Andre Gray still not fully match fit, coming back from injury. He's going to be playing on the left with Nano in the middle and Marco Rog on the right. In the last few episodes, I've been going on about how I prefer to play Marco Rog in midfield rather than as one of the front three, because Marco Rog's finishing is atrocious, but in this case, we don't really have much of a choice. And I'd rather not risk Niang, especially given that this is the away tie in the group stage. Elneny and Demirbay play together in midfield with Douglas, who now, you'd be probably happy to know, has a face, which is cool. I now know what he looks like. So he kind of looks... I wouldn't say he looks exactly how I expected him to look, but he's Brazilian, so he kind of looks Brazilian. Augustinson out on the left. Callas and Danny Bath are in defence with Volkvist, who sorts out on the right-hand side. And Rajkovic is going to be in goal. So without further ado, let's kick off. Okay then, so away from home, playing with fullbacks, standard mentality, slightly more positive. And, you know, let's just see what we can do. Real Madrid, for me, have quite a lot of men behind the ball. They've got both Gareth Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo out injured. So, you know, if you're ever going to have a half-decent chance of taking Real Madrid on, it's going to be with them two injured. Rog shoots. And, you know, it's like the opposite of everything I say seems to be happening this season so far. I say his finishing ain't good enough, and he comes up with that. Kerem Demirbay spotted the run of Andre Gray, who somehow knew Nano was behind him. Quick 1-2 between him and Rog, and straight past Keylor Navas. And one of the first things that the press actually asked me was, Keylor Navas hasn't... What the hell? Oh... Was that even a penalty? Livid at the decision to order penalty. UEFA Madrid. It's almost as bad as UEFA Lona. But yeah, the press were like, oh, Keylor Navas ain't conceded a penalty in a while. Oh, I thought he saved it then. Not conceded conceded a goal in a while. That's disappointing that. I'm not convinced it was a penalty, you know. I'm not really sure there was anything in that. Rajkovic went the right way, but it's James Rodriguez. Rajkovic jumped a little bit too high. Can we pause this and go back and see whether or not it was genuinely a foul? So let's rewind. Get some Benny Hill music on whilst rewinding. So who was it? It was Benzema that went down. There's Danny Bath. So Bath's holding him off. Oh, come on, that's a dive. Come on, Benzema. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I pointed him out in the last episode and said I can't believe they're still playing a 32, 33-year-old Karim Benzema up front. That's literally the only shot on goal Real Madrid have had against us, and they're at the Santiago Bernabéu. Ugh. It's just a shame because we don't have, you know, that extra oomph of firepower that we'd probably have liked going into this game, because of injuries and stuff. But, you know, I'm not too disappointed by the scoreline. I'm just going to calmly tell the lads I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. That does always normally fire them up. Andre Gray's not having the best game of his career. Even though, to be fair, I don't think he deserves that 6.5. He's not been that bad, surely. Danny Bath is naturally on a 6.3 because he was the one that gave away the penalty and the game's broken like that. But other than that, I don't really feel like we need to change anything. I really, really don't. I'd like to see Linkvist getting slightly involved a little bit more. But against Real Madrid, oh, they've changed it. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Have they gone back to they've gone to the narrow formation? What? Okay, Real Madrid, how am I meant to counter this now? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. You know what? In this kind of scenario, where they've got that many men forward, we've got to just look to play direct counter-attacking football, I feel like, because knowing the match engine, these guys are going to do little to no tracking back, so they're going to get left pretty exposed in their own half. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to change to a counter mentality, and the good thing about this is that we normally play with a relatively counter approach, so we don't really have to change too much, and I won't be doing. Yeah, I think that's really all we have to do. Just change to a counter mentality and maybe increase our tempo as well. But other than that, let's jump straight back in. I mean, the idea with our changes is really just to go that little bit more direct, because their front three are just not going to do any tracking back. So, in theory, they should be pretty exposed at the back. The downside is we're going to have to make sure we're still somewhat solid at the back as well, because basically our back four and Douglas are trying to deal with these strikers all running at them. And this is where we need to pounce. Oh, no, he's lost the ball. Oh, Rajkovic, what's you doing? What What's he doing? Whoa! Shocking. Shocking. Danny Bath, the culprit again. Oh, I do feel like he could have easily narrowed that down and shouldn't have conceded like that at his near post. Danny Bath, 4.7. Do one, mate. Do one. Dumic is coming on to show you how to defend. Calls himself our bloody club captain. Scott Carson up front will solve our problems. Do we play Nyang? We've given him an injection. We might as bloody well. So Nyang is going to come on. It was a shame, though, because when Volkvist won the ball back, that was like a perfect opportunity for him to really pounce forward. Now we're going to have to change to attacking. That'll help us get the ball forward a little bit more. I do feel like if we can come out of this with a draw, and the reason why I'm looking for a draw is because Real Madrid is shaky today. I don't think they've played well at all. And just the way they've scored both their goals is incredibly poor, in my opinion. So the idea now is that if they change... Okay, right. So the idea now is that these guys will push up to try and help the midfield, but you're only really left with these two centre-backs. So we're going to go two strikers up front straight away to occupy these guys. And then play with kind of like a 4-2-2-2-2. That way our wingers will be involved quite a lot as well and just try to overwhelm these lot. It will then leave us susceptible to the counter-attack, but we're looking for the win, aren't we? So we might as well do that. The problem is that, oh, bloody hell, I've not got like a target man. Where's Nabil Gillas when you need him? Right. So it's important for me as well, in order to try and apply pressure to these wide men, that our fullbacks essentially become wing-backs along with these guys, and overlap, and basically make it a 2 versus 1 here out in the wide areas and utilise this space. Get balls into the box and see where we can go from there. I'm going to move both of these guys up to here. He's actually going to come off because he's not really the kind of wing-back I'm looking for in this kind of scenario. Am I going to go for Fabio? Am I going to go for Varela? I think Fabio's the man that I need, that we know is good at somehow finding goals when we need him the most. Nano is going to go up front, actually, as an advanced forward, just to really apply pressure onto the back two. And these guys are going to become... what are they going to become? Yeah, they're going to become inside forwards on attack. They should be able to both really cut inside. They're both right-footed, so this isn't ideal at all. But the idea is to try and really utilise these flanks. Stay on a mixed passing. We're going to take that gamble up front, go more expressive, and see where that takes us. Do I really want Rajkovic passing it out the back? I don't think I do at the current moment in time. If anything, let's take a quick look at these guys. We've got Carvajal and Guilherme. Guilherme is quite poor in the air, so we're going to try and actually play the ball out wide to Nyang. Okay, so here's a plan. The idea is try and get the overlaps, the 2 versus 1 scenarios, down the wings, and try and get balls into the box and see what we can do that way around. It is going to leave us quite susceptible to counter-attack because these guys ain't going to track back. So they are going to cause our back three, in the form of Callas, Dumic and Douglas, who'll remain there, problems. But at this point on, with 20 minutes to go away from home, we either got to score or we got to concede. So we're going to go with that. Corner, though, Kerem Demirbay whips it in. Gets picked up by Alenya to Rog, who finds Fabio, who's just been... Oh! Subbed on. Douglas is offside. He didn't touch the ball. But what a shot that was from Fabio. Okay. We told the lads to really push forward. We're going to take more risks as well. And increase our width. And we just got to see what happens now. Alenya's going to hoof the ball forward. Would have been nice if he held on to it. But you can see how Real Madrid's front three are just really always going to be up there up front. They're almost playing our own game against us. Asensio to Kovacic, and he's going to miss. 3 clear-cut chances for Real Madrid. And in a way, the AI's almost figured out that it is kind of overpowered to have 3 strikers on the game this year. Augustinson looked like he just tripped Asensio there. Not much in it, but it's the 92nd minute, so it's probably just a yellow card. And we've lost to Real Madrid. Kind of disappointing. I think the performance was fine, to be honest. You know, Benzema's penalty wasn't a penalty, and Danny Bath, his header back never should have happened, but Rajkovic on a 7, I know he's a big guy, but 9 pace, 9 accelerate, it still looked to me like he could have got there. It really did look to me like he still could have... Where's my team talk gone? It really did look to me like he could have got there. I mean, I know you shouldn't really read into too much of what's going on in the 3D engine. If Waltfist as well doesn't lose... You see, he wouldn't have probably reached the ball, but if he had come off his line, he'd have been able to narrow down the angle to around here. So Origi would have had a much more difficult shot. But even the shot that Origi did take... Rajkovic shouldn't be getting beat at his near post. What a shame, because we did take the lead first, but it is what it is. Team talk-wise, I'm not happy with what just happened. Leave it at that. You know, everyone has a bad day at the office, but Danny Bath, kind of disappointing, but the nerves probably got to him, especially considering he is our captain. But the fact that we've already beat Roma once, quite convincingly, makes me feel like, yeah, we'll beat him again. We should get a win against Rostov. And to be honest, we could even beat Real Madrid at Ewood Park. You just never know. It's just a shame because a win there or a draw could have left things looking a little bit healthier. So as far as the group's concerned right now, we're on 3 points. Real Madrid are on 6. But yeah, what can you do? Let's bear in mind that I think last year in the Europa League, we finished second in our group, I think. And we went on to win the thing. So it's not going to be the end of the world if we do finish second in our group. Another thing worth mentioning, just before we head off. Oh, Stephen Owens is getting Young Player of the Month at York City. That's nice. He's actually developed pretty decent. It's just a shame his heading wasn't, or isn't a little bit better. What do you guys think of this player? I mean, 15 jumping reach, 15 strength, 191. He came through our youth academy not long ago. Do you reckon he's Premier League standard? Backup, maybe? You know, on real cheap wages? Is he from Blackburn as well? Dubbed the new John Terry. Jesus Christ. Okay, then. Is he still on the game? Yeah, he's a manager. Has he managed anyone? No. Okay, interesting. Yes, yeah, let me know what you guys think of this player. Obviously, technically he's not great. 15 tackling, he's come a long way, you know. 12 positioning, not the best leadership, not the best concentration. Is he good enough for the Premier League? I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think. For some reason, I've loaned him out to a League 2 side and he was playing in the Championship last season. Good job, me. Also given a Continental C license, which is nice. I'm currently studying for my Continental B license. But until next time, when will next time be? Next time could very well be our Champions League game against Rostov, and we'll follow that up with our home Premier League game against Manchester City, who have Louis van Gaal as manager, of course, that they hired at the end of last season, and he beat us. But until next time, I've been Kaina. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Thanks for watching.